The Python programming language, like many other high-level languages, can read, write, and append or add data to external files. So rather than the computer displaying the results on the screen, the results can be directed to an external file using the following methods and functions: the open function, the read function, and there are special methods that requires objects. They are functions, but they require objects that are associated with them in order for them to work. But that's the write and the close. So all these functions and methods can be used to program the computer in Python to read, write, add, or append data to files. You can do a combination of read, write, um, depending on how we write that code. One method to use so that Python can create or write an output file is we ask a user to enter the file name where the results will be written. We open the file, that new file that we asking the user to enter where the results will be written. We use the write method to write the results to the file, and then we close the file. One limitation of the Python program is that it can write data to a file. However, we have to somehow, through the method itself, tell the computer to write a line and then move down one line by using the backslash and the letter N. And so we may have to, in many cases, take this and place this at the end of every statement that we wish to be written to that output file. And the last thing that's going to happen is that the file is going to be closed. Okay, so let me show you how you would do this in Python. So in Python, the first step is that I'm going to, between the initialized variables and the input, I'm going to say create an external file where the output will be written. So the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to use an arbitrary variable name called file name is equal to input, enter a file name where you wish to write your output. We will be creating an external file where your output will be written. I chose an arbitrary variable name called file name because you want it to be meaningful. It's going to be equal to input into the file name where you wish to write your output. And the next step is I can just say my file, that doesn't matter what the name of it is equal to, or sometimes I say out file, is equal to open. That is a reserved function. And we want to add a file name variable. And I'm going to add the extension for .txt because the file name should be a text file so that we will be able to open it up quickly in Notepad or some text editor. This file is going to be for writing only. So the W is a mode for writing. If I use R, that means read. If I use A, that means append or add on. This is an arbitrary name that I'm using called my file equals to open file name. And I want whatever that file name is, once we're finished, it's going to have the .txt appended at the end. And it is going to be a file that is going to be open for writing. The W represents the writing mode. Next, what we're going to do is every line of code that needs to be written, we will replace it with the write method. But that write method has to be associated with where we're going to write. We're going to write in that file name, open it up, and we're going to store those results in this file name called my file. So again, what we're doing is we're telling the computer to create a file for us to open, write to it. When we write to it, rather than us referencing this long function, we're going to use the my file object that associates with the function for opening the file for writing. So the next thing we're going to do is the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines of code are going to be used, or rather, we're going to choose those codes to tell the computer to write those lines to the output file. So we're going to tell the computer to replace the print statement with the write function. Okay, so what we're going to do is go back up to the top, go to Edit, Replace Print Statement with my file dot write. So let's go and find each of the statements. Find, I do not want to use this to write it to a file. That statement is allowing the user to interact with the program and tell them what to do. So I can't use that one. Don't want to use that one either. This one either. I'm going to use that print statement or this print statement either. We're not going to use this print statement either. But we will use this one, and I'll say replace. And I'll keep replacing, replace, 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 and replace. These are the last 6 lines that we want the computer to write to the output file. That's how it knows, using the conceptual object my file dot write, and we'll be writing to the file. The last step that we're going to follow is to tell the program to close the file. So we're going to say my file dot close. Close the newly formed file used to write the output. And then just to inform the user what's going on, because once the output is written to a file, you will not see anything on the screen. You can say the file name plus .txt. We could be even more specific. Just to inform the user, you may have a print statement on the screen that tells you the file that has been written to the directory, folder, or the folder where your Python program was stored. You can find and open the file to view. Then, of course, the last statement is to end. And we'll just move this up a bit. Going to end the program itself. The next step is we will run the program to see if it is working correctly. There's actually one more step, but we will show you momentarily what you're going to do to add that step. Well, let's run the program right now. Run. Enter file name where you wish to write your output. I'll just say bug collection output. Enter the number of days the books are collected. I'll put it 4, but I accidentally added an A, so we want to just make sure that works out okay. So in 4 days, 89, and I accidentally put a Z there, so it's going to tell me that I put the wrong data type in there, and that I put the value in as a negative value. So I'm going to put in 89, 100, 75, 92. This time, the results do not show up on the screen. It says the bug collection output text has been written to the same directory or folder where your Python program was stored. Find and open the file to view. Here is the directory where the Python program was. I called it bug collection exceptional external file. Bug collection output. This was created. Let me open it up. And here it is. It wrote your information to a file, but it did it horizontally across the screen. It just kept writing across it. Never, in other words, each new line did not move down, or the program rather did not create a new line automatically. So we're going to have to do something about that. What we're going to do is each of these lines we're going to add plus double quote new line, and add that to the at the end, or pin it to the end of each of these lines here. Let's run the program once more. We've already tested everything else, so we'll go ahead and run the program with the new changes or additions. I'll just say bug collection output 2. 7 days, 89, 127, 100, 245, 319, 230, and 400. It says the bug collection output 2.txt has been written to the same directory or folder where your Python program was stored. Find and open the file, and that's what I'm going to do. Here's that bug collector 2, so we'll open it up. And here it is. And this is what the output is going to closely resemble. Feel free to review this program as often as necessary. It will be outlined on the sample so that you can take a look at that. And do not hesitate to contact me as soon as possible if you have any questions or concerns.